What's up, everybody? The Fed may be signaling a bull pump that's going to blow people away is just around the corner. We got to talk about it. We've got some really incredible charts that we were looking at today that's, I think, going to bring some smiles to some of your faces. Remember, I've been telling you around the middle of July, I think we're going to start really having some positive upside. So let's not get shaken out. Before then, everybody that is here, good morning. How you doing? Drop a 1 in chat if you're feeling grateful today. Drop a 2 in chat if you are ready for this market to push to the upside. Big love to everybody. Let's get this going right now. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. We got to jump right on into the charts today because Bitcoin is crashing. It is not crashing. It is not breaking down. It is doing exactly what we want to see. When we zoom out on this massive uptrend, we know this. We've been talking about this for days, for weeks, for months, since January last year. In fact, we've had a luxurious bull market with these little, what are these, crashes for ants, little 19, 20% pullbacks. And we're sitting here right now consolidating at previous all-time high. And we have, if we just look more locally, we see this downtrend that had been established, and it bounced so beautifully off this trend line that we've established. And we've seen this in a number of different charts that we have drawn. You can see it in a number of different ways that, I mean, look at this wash out to the downside. It's over. But look at where we're at. We just only tested this previous range high, range high, the bounce. So all we've done right now, the only thing that's happened right now, this is still very bullish. We're in a midterm macro bullish setup right now. And what we're seeing is what I think, remember, what was my stream? What was the stream here titled yesterday? Double trap. I talked about a potential move up that was going to trap some people, then the move back down. There's the double trap, then to resolve to the upside. We have the signal flashing today. We have the signal that suggests that long-awaited bull trend, just explosion to the upside, may be percolating right now to happen before we can even snap our fingers. So everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. My name is Kelly Kellum. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. Good morning and good afternoon and good night. I hope Nicole Tater out there in Greece, we're going to need a report from Greece. How you doing, Tiggle Bitties? Wait, was it Tiggle Bitties? Who was it? Yeah, Tiggle Bitties is lurking from the golf course. Let us know if you drop a hole in one, what course you plan out as well. We got some stuff to cover today because we're seeing a little bit of that movement I was talking about yesterday, a little bit of the whipsaw. And remember, when we're looking at this, we're still sitting here right about that $2.3 trillion, just under it, 2.29 trillion. Bitcoin's still hovering here above 60,000, sitting right now on a precarious little, it feels scary when you're not looking at the charts, 61.9, $61,932. Ethereum about 3,400. Are we going to get that move down? Let me know, everybody in the chat. Everybody in the chat. Let's get some more engagement going here. I'm reading all your chats. I can see them now. So when I ask you to answer something, drop a live chat in there. Also, if you're watching later, comment down below. I read all that stuff. Do you think Ethereum is going to give a washout down to that $3,000 range? If so, throw a 1. Do you think we're going to get that washout? Do you think it's going to hold roughly where we're at about now? If so, if you think it's going to hold, drop a 2 in the chat. I'm curious to see what you guys are thinking and feeling about what may be coming for Ethereum, especially knowing that this ETH spot ETF is right here, just around the corner. It is going to be here before we know it, and we very likely will see a little bit of a washout. The question is, do we get a pump up and the washout after, or are we going to get a washout before? Kind of contending a little bit different with what we saw with the Bitcoin spot ETF. Because when we're looking at this and we see, okay, let's go to the 24-hour charts. We got Floki, one of the bigger movers, Beam, Akash Network, Bonk, Toncoin, a lot of, several meme coins up here. Toncoin, I think I'm going to start needing to cover a bit more Toncoin because I'm seeing some whispers and I'm seeing some things behind closed doors with a lot of the strides that they're making in partnerships and some of the things that they're doing, of course, remember Toncoin is tied in. It is the native token for Telegram, and Telegram has a couple users out there. I mean, let's go ahead and look right here. Where's my mouse at? Let's see how many active Telegram users. Let's see how many there are. 900 million. That's 900. That's almost 1 billion people actively using this. So whether or not you think Ton is a sexy project or not, it is something that you need to pay attention to when they have a direct access to a user base of almost 1 billion people. So let's take note of that. We also have Mantra near having a little bit of a push up, a little bit of a pullback within that push up. This is, remember, 24 hours on 7 days. We're still down 1%, but we are trying to eat that back up. Multiverse, previously Elrond, E-Gold, is up 4% for the week. And about almost all of that is accounted for in the last 24 hours. H-bar, which we haven't really talked about much on here. Did you hit that like button? Don't hide in the shadows. Support the channel, fam. Shout out Crypto Brad Fox. I appreciate you. And thank you for everybody that shows some love and, engages with the channel. I do appreciate you. I invested in not because it's a Ton token, but with a lower market cap, and you have to spend not token for their tap, tap, tap games. I did not know that. Thank you very much, Crypto Steve-O, for letting us know, dropping a little bit of knowledge there on everybody. There's only so much research I can do. So I learn from you guys, just like you learn from me. This is a community effort, so let's get into it. We got to talk about this, though, because when we're talking about looking at the price action here, let's notice, if we're focused on these smaller time frames, notice that we have been in this short time frame downtrend, but we found support in a key level. Not only do we find support in a key level, if we come down here for like the 8 hour or the, even on the 8 hour, do you notice that? Even on the 8 hour, we have this massive candle here. Hammer candle. These tend to be reversal candles to the upside. We got a little bit of a base here, and the price action broke out of this short time frame downtrend. BTC newbie says, is the bottom in? I think regionally, yes, I would say the bottom is in. If that does not discount the fact, remember on yesterday's stream, I talked about a move up followed by a move down, and we could have a move down that actually washes this entire area out and comes and steals some liquidity down here before resolving to the upside. It could also form a higher low here, find support somewhere in this region, thus basically doing a meaningful sort of support resistance flip. Here you have the resistance. We've broken out of it. Regularly, we see price action come back and flip that to support. So Isophobic says, super chat, $2 from Isophobic, when price go up. Well, we're talking about that today. I got a key signal that we've got to look at. I have a key signal that we got to look at that is indicating that we may be seeing that, as I said, in yesterday's stream, and now we see a signal really, I don't want to say confirming, but really supporting price action likely going up. But we're going to be covering, let's just dive into this. I'm going to go through these a couple of these posts real quick, and then we're going to come back and do some TA. Right here, show me the money, baby. This is what it's about. The global liquidity oscillator just printed a huge uptick in US dollars. The last time this happened, 15 months ago, Bitcoin rose 40% in a week. Will we see fireworks following the 4th of July? Well, what the hell am I talking about? It is this chart right here. When I showed this to Josh this morning, Joshua Jake from Discover Crypto, he was like, wow. And look at this uptick. So we're having negative liquidity, right? Fed net liquidity, rate of change. This is it coming down. And look, flip back up right here. When this flipped up, price up. Look at this massive uptick. 40% move. This is the last time we've had this size uptick anywhere near it. This has overshadowed every uptick in Fed net liquidity rate of change since all the way back here in March. And if my dates are correct, it's right here around March 10th of 2023. And this saw a massive uptick in price action. And remember, when we're talking about price action going up, how do you have price action going up without the funds, the fuel to push it up? This is why I say it is so important. You get scared of price action dropping. You get scared if price action going to continue going up. Will it finally continue breaking higher like everybody told me it would? Well, the problem is typically you're focused on too small of a time frame if you're wondering why is it not going up now? Zoom out a little bit, because when we look at this chart and we see the net liquidity ticking up so huge like this, and the last time we saw this tick up like this, we saw a 40% rise in price action on Bitcoin within a week. So when we look at the data in combination with the price, we can get a much clearer picture about what is likely, what's possible, and also even somewhat of a time frame that this could happen in. Use the data, because it looks like Bitcoin from the data standpoint is suggesting a strong bullish move is coming very quick. Make sure you hit that like button, you hit that subscribe button, join us for more. I want to keep you on the right side of these trends. Join us here in BitLab Academy. Now, when we dive back over here, looking at this, this is incredibly, incredibly bullish. This does not signal that it is happening in 7 minutes or in 1 day or in 3 days. This is suggesting that the circumstances for which could drive bullish action is here. But there's other data points we have to consider as well. There's other things we have to look at. So let's go ahead and let's paint the picture. Let's do it. We got 139 people in the room and 41 likes. Everybody do your part to help support crypto within YouTube. It doesn't float my ego for you all to hit the like button. It lets YouTube know you like crypto content. So hit that like button and join us here. Now, continuing on here, we can also see here's another data point that supports a bullish movement. What is it? We see the price action. This is, looking at the daily chart. This is the one we pushed up to about 74 before we just started consolidating at this previous all-time high range. We're just consolidating here. Had the downtrend, broke out, had a lower high in formation, another downtrend breakout, but we can look at this in concert along with the MACD. And what we're seeing right here is a MACD large momentum wave to the downside. A little bit smaller, a little bit larger, but still smaller than this major one. So the trend here with the MACD, the expansion, the bearish expansion to the downside is shrinking. And then what do we see? A very quick flip bullish. And this happens preceding this movement. So what do we see here? Now we see a very similar, this is rounding out and this is ticked back bullish, and doesn't necessarily mean it's only going up, up and away, because we see, look, this flip back bullish right here too, meaning negative expansion back to bullish expansion. Right here, we got that, but it was followed by basically a lower high, and this continued breaking down. So we have some pieces of the puzzle. Some pieces of the puzzle. What puzzle am I talking about? The puzzle that we want to see price action explode higher. The pieces of the puzzle we're seeing is a downtrend that the price action breaks through and the MACD supporting that movement. So we're seeing both these cases. We also saw what global liquidity, or the Fed net liquidity, ticked up. Huge rate of change, flipping from negative to positive here. So we have two things suggesting, for instance, when we saw this move right here, this tiny move where you see by the circle, this move would be the same as this move right here. The difference is we have the MACD flipping bullish. We have the downtrend line broken out. Shout out to Kevin Svensson for such a good chart here. But we also see this time, we see a huge difference in the net liquidity rate of change. So will we have this baby pump right here? Well, we're seeing the fuel. There's a lot more fuel in the car for this one. So we have to pay attention to that. This is looking good. It's not every piece of the puzzle though. So let's continue on. Then we got this right here. MVRV, extreme deviation pricing bands. A lot of big words. What the hell are they talking about? One of the most crucial resistance areas for Bitcoin is about $65,000 region. If Bitcoin can break past this level, the next significant target is 78.7. So why is this a significant target? This has to do with the MVRV, deviation pricing bands. So that's a metric. Well, let's look at another metric. Looking right here, $940 million of Bitcoin shorts will be liquidated at 65K. So now we have the MVRV score suggesting that's an important level. We also have liquidations Huge, almost $1 billion in liquidations. If price pushes up, we'll get liquidated if we basically push through the 65K region. And when we look back at the chart, remember, we're building a puzzle. When we look back at the chart, let's look at this right here. We look at this level we have, 64.9, basically right about $65,000. This also is in line with this support, this resistance, this resistance, this resistance, this support, this support, this support, key level. Then we look at it, this chart that we've been sharing for weeks, if not months. This level that we had boxed out, what level is that? 65. It's that 65 region. So then what does it mean when we look at the high block liquidation charts? Well, now we can see it clear as a bell, this zone right here that we rejected from. We came back up into it. Look at this, clearing all this liquidity. And then once they did that, it's okay, we got our money's worth. Let's send it back down. Boom, came back down. But on this, you're getting a lot of people that are shorting, and you start stacking up. You see how light this is over here? You see how this gets darker, or more bright, I should say, brighter and brighter and brighter. Look at how bright this is. That color transition from very light hue to very bright yellow hue is an indication of a huge number of shorts that have stacked up that is sitting right here. Tiny little barrier, if you ask me, to what we're seeing here at the $65,000 level. So really, we're seeing on the charts at $65,000, 64.8 up to about 65.8. The $65,000 region. We also saw on the liquidations, we also saw on the, in terms of, talking about this chart, how many all these liquidations. And now you can see here, the price levels really exemplified. Remember, when we look at this heat map chart, where is this level at? This level is sitting here at 63.9 up to about 64. So looking at this chart right here, let's see. 62.9 is where some liquidations start, up into the 63.4, huge amount here at 63.9. So just as we push through this, you get to an area where basically you're flushing out this liquidity and maybe changing the tide of the direction of this market. This is one of the worst trading tools, man. I tell Josh and TJ this every time. You're talking about looking at where liquidity is in the chart. It might work for you, it might not. I do not trade specifically only on liquidation data, but it tells me where there's pools of liquidity in the chart for price action to push into. So this tells me just areas of interest. And as you notice, I'm looking at this in combination with looking at price levels, horizontal price levels, which are my favorite tool and technical analysis, looking at price action. Yes, diagonals are great, but these horizontal levels are more important. I like to use them in combination. So when I see a horizontal level that is also illustrating an area that is, in this case, just above where all this liquidity is stacking up, then I start seeing confluence. Remember, it's all pieces of the puzzle. I think every tool sucks for TA. If you're using any tool independently with nothing else out there, it sucks. It's all about discernment and putting the pieces of the puzzle together to build a narrative. And then what you do, you don't want to just build a narrative that supports your bias. Then you build the opposite narrative and see which one has more supporting facts, which one has more supporting elements, I should say, not necessarily facts. So we have to pay attention to that, but I appreciate that message there, Crypto Crank. Preach, Kelly. Hey, we're all in this together. And here's the deal. And I talk about this is why I also bring on Girl in the Verse. And I'd like to get Amy Loves Crypto on here as well. That's why we also had Rodney on here. I've had Drew on here. I've had Mark Yusko. Credible Crypto. The number of different types of people I try to bring on this channel, I'm going to be doing more of it, is because I might be looking at stuff that other people hate. I might use tools other people just don't understand or they don't prefer. It's good to have a broad lens on the market and have different people that look at things in a different way and explain how, why, and what they're using. So we can build our own tool pack. We can build our own mechanisms of discernment, etc. So big love to everybody. And I'm okay if you guys don't agree with some of the stuff I say. In fact, I welcome it. Let me know or ask questions. I'd love you all to ask more questions here in the live chat. I want to engage with all that way more often. So let's continue back into this because we got some stuff. We got to get into these charts. We also got to talk about how many of you out there are big altcoin holders. Is 30% or more of your portfolio in altcoins? Let me know. Throw a 1 in chat if more than 30% of your total portfolio is in altcoins, in crypto. Because when you look at this chart right here, altcoins about to take some, are altcoins about to take some of this global liquidity that just started ticking up? I've been patiently stacking. What about you? Fibonacci's and Guac says, yes, sufficient enough. Said, absolutely. And when we look at this, what do we see? This is the basically crypto total market cap, excluding the top 10. And what we're seeing here is a trend line that goes all the way back here to 2019. Right into 2020. Look at this. When you find this, boom, bounce, strong alt season. Find this again, strong alt season. Find this again, little mini alt season we had last year. I do expect that this alt season, when it truly starts doing the work of upside action, I think that we're going to have a more explosive, alt season than we had the last 3 times, 2020, 2021, 2023. Is it different this time? I do not think so. But seeing this does not mean, I want you all to know this. Seeing this does not mean it's alt season starting now because we tapped this. This is one of the building blocks, but you very well, look at this, boom, come all the way back. Remember, these are weekly charts. Every candle is a week. Food is Life says, call me crazy, 70%. Yo, somebody's out here hustling that risk market. I appreciate you. But when we see, if I take off my face here for a second, you'll notice when I put my mouse right here, you won't be able to hear me. Let me just do that. You'll see that there was several weeks that the price action actually was just kind of testing that trend line. So as you can see, right in this zone, it's, bounce, and then it's, how many weeks is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of it testing and doing some work to come back to test before it actually broke to the upside. Now, of course, this one was just 1 touch up. This one was 1, 2 touch starting to work up. There's no telling what it's going to be this time. All we can do, all we can do is be prepared. It feels, and we all could be wrecked here. Brutal says, $2 super chat. Will you do Celestia, please? If somebody super chats a coin, I will absolutely do TA on it for sure. Big love. I appreciate the support on the channel. We need to look at Celestia. Let's do that. But we're setting up for that move. We're seeing signals. We're seeing some signs. We're seeing life in terms of bullish divergences and also targets that we've been charting out here on the channel for the last 3 months. All of these targets hitting, and it's starting to look like that weakness is starting to leave, because I can see it also in the altcoins that I'm holding, the total altcoin portfolio. If I measure it in actually value of Bitcoin, as Bitcoin has made this last drop, my value of my altcoins in Bitcoin has gone up, which is one of those indications that we're talking about when we talk about Bitcoin dominance going down, and when the altcoins start to see that capital flowing in, or maybe not losing as much capital in downtrends as you are in Bitcoin. Now, this is going to be an interesting market because all these capital access points for institutions, and also the lack of savings that we see on data in terms of people's savings and just capital because of inflation, et cetera. It's going to be interesting to see how this altcoin market truly performs. Yeah. Bro, your headline is a little off. Market is dumping. Oh my God, it is dumping. Let's look at this. It is dumping so bad right now. It's like, let's see, on 4 hours, let's see. Boom. Boom. Oh yeah, we're 1.27%. It's over, guys. It's over. Matthew Newhouse says it's dumping. When we're looking at the macro, when we're looking at the midterm and the macro, as this stands right now, nothing nothing bearish is happening. We're looking at basically a retest of these levels right here, potentially a little lower. And as I talked about yesterday on my live stream, I said, and I mean, we could see it right here. Coming over here, where is BitLab Academy? Let's go live. What was this? Double trap. You see that? Double trap. This is exactly what I was talking about yesterday. Having a small time frame washout up and then back down does not mean market is dumping. If we lose $56,000, then I'll say, yeah, the market's dumping. But as it stands right now, all we're currently seeing is this turned out to be a little bit of a bull trap. And I outlined this yesterday that we may get that then trap back to the downside to test maybe even triple bottom here with the candles. Yes, we have a wick eating all the way up, but if you look at the candle bottoms, boom, boom. Will we get a triple bottom somewhere over in here? $60,600 region. But let's talk about it. I mean, and by the way, I didn't mean to call you out. I don't mean it negatively. It's just, you just illustrated something a lot of people in the market feel when you have a couple $100 move to the downside or $1,000. It's like, it's dumping. Yeah, now $1,000 move to the downside on Maker, which is that would be a 30% drop, right? So, but Bitcoin, this is nothing to balk at yet unless we continue going down. Interesting commercial put out by Circle on CBDCs a minute ago. We're about to get into that right now. We talked about the altcoin market. We also see this is one of those bearish factors at play right now that we still have to consider. Yes, we're seeing a rate of change for the Fed. I mean, absolutely bullish. That could be the fuel that could really drive these markets up. But we're also seeing that still the nonstop, never-ending Mt. Gox saga that just seems to persist for the entire time I've been in crypto. But here's real data here. This chart will blow your socks off and slap you in the face. That's right. The entire history of this chart has disappeared because an enormous sum of Bitcoin moved on chain. 10x more than the previous highs, 9 billion. But by who? Probably Mt. Gox. It looks like those distributions really are starting to go out, meaning they're going to start dispersing and distributing that capital back out to those various people that are creditors within holding, basically forced holding since back in 2014. But look at this. This is a pretty big metric of capital potential sell pressure coming on chain. The question is going to be, how much of this is actually going to get sold on the market? We can't be mad at somebody if they're, they get a distribution back from Mt. Gox holdings that they had from 2014. There's a 9,000% gain since then. It would make sense to take some off the table. I know I would, even if I knew the market cycle, it's like, well, listen, I already was in a situation where I potentially lost every bit of my Bitcoin holdings, right? If you're a Mt. Gox holder, and now all of a sudden you have the ability to take a little bit off the table. Why wouldn't you? The question is going to be, what percentage of this is going to get distributed? Some of it might be lost forever. There's going to be people that have passed on since then, of course, some people that are just not paying attention, but then also some people that just want to hold and other people that want to sell everything. Get your education you need. And if you're an OG, let's help the juniors learn. That's right, Crypto Bad Fox. I have a friend actually named Brad Fox. That's why I thought your name said Brad Fox. But so we got to be attention to this. But this is very bullish. Where is that? That's not the story. This story right here, referencing what they just said about Circle and the CBDCs, but also stablecoins. USDC and EURC are legal tokens in Europe today. Why is it so important? This is the first time ever in history of crypto a blockchain token has been declared legal in a sovereign jurisdiction. This is the end of stage one where crypto was tolerated and the start of stage two where crypto becomes legal tender. This is the catalyst we have waited for years and the road to full crypto adoption. Billions of stablecoins will be minted in the EU and the pressure will push stablecoin regulation in the US and other jurisdictions. Once regulated in the U.S., trillions of digital dollars will be minted, backed by U.S. treasuries and U.S. debt, monetizing the U.S. debt, and this value will find its way into digital assets, ushering in the road to $1 million Bitcoin. So there's a lot here. It's going to be interesting to see how this is unpacked into actual implementation and integration. But this is one of those big steps. Whether or not you agree with it, not agree with it, if you think it has something to do with CBDC, this is just where we're at. And this does give, further legitimization of crypto and blockchain. And this dominoes are going to keep falling. Is there a CME gap around 60,800 that could close and count as a retest? Food is life. Shout out to you. I don't know if you were watching yesterday, but I did share that chart. Let me see if I can find it. It was back here. I shared a chart on it. We talked about it. Did I not share it? Stupid sucker. I'm a stupid sucker. We can actually just, how about this? Let's just pull it up on the chart. Come here. Let's actually go to a clean chart or a different chart. Trading view, the Bitcoin, boom. Now let's do this. Let's do CME, futures. Oh, it's BTC1. There we go. Now, here we go. We talked about this yesterday. This is that, look at this. We're testing the upper side of this gap right now. This is futures that close over the weekend. And this would essentially, let's go a little bit lower. Look at this. Yeah, it comes right down into, we're testing the top side of this range right now. But remember, is Bitcoin really, it's all good. Food is life. Not everybody can be here every day. I appreciate you. If you're here once a month or only once, if you ever tuned in here once, I appreciate you for being here. And I hope I can encourage you to participate and get involved and join us here on the channel. Become a member on the YouTube. Become a member over at lab.bitlabacademy.com. /deal. Use that while the offer's still good. Still 15 days free, and also I think it's 35% off or something for life when you sign up there after the 15 days. You also, once you sign up, you also get access to sign up for the indicators and such that we use as well. But when we're looking here, futures close on Friday night and opens Sunday night. If Bitcoin price that trades 24/7, which the crypto market does, moves over that time, then you get this gap that forms when the markets open back up. Look at the date at the bottom. Look, Friday the 28th. And what is this? Sunday the 30th. So you have the price action moved in the markets while the market was closed. So you form this gap. About 90% of all these gaps get filled, meaning the price will come back and close them. If you all remember last week, I was talking about this Thursday and Friday. I said, some people want the price to push up on the weekend. I want the price to dump on weekends. Why? Because then you have a gap overhead versus under. Because if price pushes up over the weekend, then you get this little sentiment pop, and then it turns out to be a trap because the price action will come back and fill this gap. So there is stand to reason on the smaller time frames, today into tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, that we could see a washout, further move down into, close this out down to $61,000. And this is on CME futures. So there's a little bit of tends to be a little bit of a premium. If we overlay this with Bitcoin, it probably would be about, like you said, $60,800 or something. If I remember correctly, you sold your Celestia. I should have followed suit, debating on continuing DCA or cutting losses. I did sell my TIA, but I think TIA is a great project. I think it will actually perform quite well in this market. I was working with a limited altcoin portfolio that I'm sharing with all of you, every move that I'm making in there, and especially in the Discord, the BitLab Discord. That's why you need to join with that link that you see right there, lab.bitlabacademy.com /deal. It's the best way you can help show love for the channel. If not that, $5, join the BitLab membership here on the YouTube. Goes a long way, and I appreciate everybody that is a member. Shout out to Rice, by the way. I was going to say this at the end. I'll do it twice. I will be on Rice TVX this afternoon. I'll actually go ahead and retweet this right now, and I'd love each and every one of you. If we can get 30 retweets on this, then I'm going to retweet this, retweet my tweet here, going live on Rice TVX today at 2 p.m. Tune in here. Now go and retweet that tweet right there, the tweet that I just did, And if we get 30 people that retweet this, I will do a random draw tomorrow from all of you that retweet it, and we will give away Arculus hat and $50 USDT. Boom, right there, retweet to be entered. I just shared that right there in the live chat. But yeah, we're gonna be talking crypto. Rice has been in the game, especially on the YouTube side of things for, I mean, years and years. He is a fixture in the space. So if you're not following him, make sure you follow him on Twitter and on YouTube. But come show some love in that stream later as well. But we got some more TA to do. I don't even know what I was talking about before, but had to shout out my boy Rice there. Is Bitcoin a good stock? Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, Bitcoin is a good stock. It's not a stock though. But yeah. So we're seeing the price action deviation below, higher low here, broke back through the channel. We're coming down as we just outlined right now. Where did that chart go? We're coming back down to potentially fill this gap. So don't lose your mind, because as I told you all yesterday, double trap up and then down. And what we get up, now we're coming back down. The question is going to be, once we come here, are we going to get more committed low to then get the spring? We have the macro set up for ultimate bullishness with the Fed net liquidity rate of change. We talked about this. We have the liquidation zones on the map are suggesting that the liquidity's here. So this move right now just feels like they're just trying to squeeze you out before we come up here and attack this liquidity and move higher. So let's just be aware of that. Now let's get into some other stuff. We had the super chat for Tia. Let's look at Tia. How's Tia doing? USDT. I haven't done a chart on Tia in a minute here. So look at that. We had this sort of fake round out only to reject further down. And when we look at this, remember, this is still a newer project. It's not that old of a project. So the fact that we had this massive run up, and then I want you guys to pay attention to something. Look at the angle here, nearly straight up, okay? Now, if I copy paste that, let's go and move this over. Is this the same? No, look, now it's at an angle. So let's take this again. Is this the same? No, it's at a further angle, okay? Let's look at the next one. Is this the same? No, that momentum had shifted down. This was telling you the rotation of momentum here was showing a growing lack of conviction from the bulls. We're always debating the battle of the narrative between the bulls and the bears. You could look at these angles of attack as that narrative. Strong angle, it's weakening, That was a signal there. And look, much higher high, not so much higher high, almost a double top there. That was telling you the story. If the bulls are losing conviction, what does that mean? That means the bears are gaining conviction. So then what do we see? The price action is moving to the downside, but where are we sitting right now? Let's take a box right here, and we can just take a box and just move it across. And look at where the price has settled. We bounced here once. Now we've dropped into this box here. If the price action does lose this level, there's I would say the next level I'd be watching is this, not that much further down, $5. If we lose this, then we got a pretty hell of a way down to fall into the mid threes, likely even the low threes, which would really wash a lot of people out. I do think I'm on the side of thinking the market's going to have a pretty stiff resolution to the upside or impulse to the upside here in the coming week and a half or so. And I don't know if y'all notice this. It was just, I don't know if it was a dream or what, but I shared this. I don't even know where it is. Let me see if I can find it. I posted a 1 or 2 word thing here, and everybody thinks it has something to do with. I just said July 12th. It's somewhere in here. I don't know. I post so much. It's somewhere in here. I posted a tweet, and all it says is July 12th, and everybody's trying to guess what it is. But I think between now and the middle of July, I think even if we have bearish action between now and then, I do think we're going to start getting a pretty strong impulse to the upside. So when we're looking at TIA, We have to take that into consideration as well. Will this bleed a little more? It's likely because this is in a downtrend, right? And this is, see this angle? This is the same thing we talked about over here. What do we see? This angle here. This angle here. Is this the same angle here? No, this is a sharper angle. So this means the bears have accelerated the momentum to the downside. However, this is met, not what we see is the price action finding a little bit of a base here where all this chop is. If we can hold at this $5 mark or above, then we very well might start resolving maybe a little bit of sideways consolidation before this moves up. But you have to notice we've had negative money flow this entire way. And currently this money flow is expanding. Negative money flow, meaning money coming out. Sort of. And the stochastics are trying to round out here. We may have found a bottom. We're going to need a day or two, 3 or 4 days to see how it sits right now. But if this is something you've been holding, take advantage of lower prices. If you had conviction here and nothing catastrophic has happened to their fundamentals, this has dropped, then you basically, if you bought here at 20 and this is down here at 5, you could spend 1/4 the money to get the same amount of stuff that you bought here and lower your average entry. So be aware of that. Now, when we look at near is looking like a little bit more like potentially it has bottomed. Why? Because when we look at this sort of sideways chop zone, doesn't mean its bottom is going straight up from here. We're trading sideways here, up, down, up, down. But as it stands right now, we have higher lows. We broke bullish out of this broadening wedge. We came down, found support, pushed up, came back down, but still held this line, and now trying to work its way back up. I think this will need a little bit more work yet before we truly get resolution to the upside. And this is that level that I'm watching right here. This level right here at 566 to 576, because this is now forming a sort of double bottom, boom, boom, with a higher low to boot. If the price actually does come down and lose this, then I'm watching for price, which would be a steal for near down here at 440, 439 sort of region. Injective, we have not looked at Injective lately. Injective had this rising level of support here that we lost. And we talked about this when this was here, a potential move up into this zone. And is it going to reject and come, basically a leg, fall, retrace, continuation, or fall, retrace, hesitation, then continuation, or basically full reversal. As it sits right now, we have the W formation. The price action pushed up into this previous support, now resistance. It's finding now support on this previous range high, and it's struggling to do so. If this is lost, we're watching for a bounce, hopefully above about 2030, I mean, really anywhere above 1990, but I'd like to see this maintain still having higher lows in here. Otherwise, we may be getting a deeper pull back down into the 1890 or further down to 16. But we're watching for what direction the market really chops people out and how fiercely. Where are we buying more PENDL, Kelly, says Fade and Traffic. I don't know. Let's look at PENDL. Let's take a gander at the PENDL. And shout out to Johnny on our team. He was calling out, oh, you know what? Alexander G did a $5 super chat and I didn't even see it. Shout out for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. I really appreciate you. And also, Isophobic, I don't know how I missed these super chats. $5 super chat says, seems like the liquidity has been above for a while, but they won't grab it. I hear you there. And it's stacking up only more. And Isophobic also said, is istophobic? I think so. Yeah, Instagram phobic. I guess that's what it stands for. Also, super chat, it said, when price go up. Try resetting YouTube. I reset mine and fixed the issue. Is it buffering? Do I need to slow down my movements? Well, what we can see right now is, let's look at PENDL. Boom, PENDL. Wow, PENDL is taking a leap off the diving board there. Did bad news come out on PENDL? Let's come back over here. Let's go to PENDL. Let's see. Is it PENDLFi? I don't know what let's actually go here. What am I doing? I'm an idiot. you can find these things very quickly if you just go to PENDL and we go to a website and Twitter. So we go to the officials and let's see, PENDL symbiotic continues with the foursome this week. Okay, seems good. I don't know why they crashing or pulling back, I should say. I don't like the word crash. Right here, somebody is shorting PENDL so aggressively as they have done, as if they have some insider news. So what do we see? We see the price action moving down. How do we know they're shorting? Because we see the price action moving down, and we also see the open interest, boom, shooting to the upside, and we see liquidations, and we can also see the predicted funding rate. This was getting very large. See, this was positive. Right here, we had this huge amount of funding rate dropping, basically growing on the negative basis, meaning it was becoming more expensive to short because more people are shorting. Okay, and so this kicked off the move, and then people are trying to long, and they're just getting liquidated. And now this is starting to flip back to a lot of short. So this is why you're seeing PENDL. There might be something brewing on negative news, but this might also be setting up. Look at this, boom, 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 boom. If we lose this zone, what do we look for? Well, then we look right here, option J, and we look right here, option J. So you can ladder some entries. Put some, if you like PENDL, drop in some limit buy orders down in this zone and then down in this zone. Maybe we get the flush all the way down into the down into this. That would be a pretty good opportunity because it's already dropped. Man, look at that. 15% drop. If we drop further, that's 21, 22%. If we drop further, that's a 30% drop from this zone that was in. Was there other signs that this could happen? Let's look at the chart. Well, rising broadening wedge. What am I talking about? Look, resistance, 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 support, support, support. So this came up. These tend to break bearish. So the chart itself, and we have lower highs. Boom, boom. And look, from here to here, did this come anywhere near that? No, this means the bullish impulse got even weaker here. So there was signs brewing for this potential breakdown before this happened, let alone somebody shorting. So be aware of that. Now, if this is able to support here, fine. I would expect at some point, if this holds here, a bounce up. And we're going to have to see if this rejects at this region, comes back down, and then falls or what. So we're going to have to keep our eye on this. What was another one you guys just said? You said AERO. So let's look at Aerodrome. And we're going to look at Constellation DAG here in a moment too, because I know they're doing some really big, I don't know if you guys follow Constellation DAG. They have so many incredible government contracts with the U.S. Air Force and U.S. Transcom. And I mean, so many good things. And they're starting to roll out a bunch of projects. And I think they even have a hackathon coming up here shortly as well, which is going to bring them into the spotlight with a $100,000 giveaway, I think, for anybody that wins that. It's a competition, but also they're rolling out some features that are going to be basically more retail focused. And, I mean, really great project. But look at this, Aerodrome just, moving to the downside, giving opportunity. We had this area mapped out. This came up, found, could not even take out this zone. We talked about that. And if it did, I suggested this zone and then back down into here. If we lose this zone, it might get a little bit more scary. I'd be looking for an opportunity right down about right in here. Why? Because we see support, resistance, resistance, support. So this would be a pretty significant drop too if I'm doing my math right. Yeah, that's about an 18% drop further. But as it stands, this is currently a falling wedge. So my computer, why does it go so slow? Is this still buffering? Okay, good. If we're able to find support here, this is on the 12-hour. Let's get down to the 1 hour. Look at this huge sell volume. What do I mean? This large spike in sell volume. If we can find support here, this might be, if you have a longer term mindset on this, this is already a good buy opportunity. Not to use every bit of your dry powder, but if we find support here, that could be great. Bouncing up, coming across, and then can that move up? but splitting up your entries, maybe some here, some a little bit lower, and then, ultimately down here at potentially 49 cents. Remember, not too long ago, Aerodrome was all the way up here at 237. So if you liked it here, you should love it down here. Let's all do a better job of making sure that we understand why we're investing things, why we're participating in different projects, the fundamentals, the time horizons. And when we have the why nailed down, we have a much better how. We have a much better ability to navigate a strategy that's meaningful and not always be tricked specifically by the emotions of the situation. We want to make sure that we can nail it in this market because this is the last best opportunity we're getting in our lifetime, I believe. We're all ahead of the fold here. So let's take advantage of what's happening. And by that, I want you all to take advantage of the like button right now. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, ding the bell. And remember, if you want to learn more about this, if you want to learn more focused ability to chart, also have chart requests and get involved in our Discord, get involved in our courses, get involved in BitLab Academy, head over to lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. And then also make sure, check out getarculus.com to make sure you are protecting your future by protecting your crypto. One tap, cold storage, wallet, also can swap, trade, store, multi-factor authentication. Head over to getarculus.com, use code LAB10, LAB10 for 10% off. And with that being said, let's head over to DGen Alpha right now. We're going to jump into this stream right here. I'm going to drop the code in here. Let's all show some love. Let's go have a taco party over there at the DGen Alpha stream. If you just stay on this will automatically forward you there as well. I love you guys. I will see you all at the Rice TVX stream this afternoon. If you head over to my page, remember, if you want to participate in a potential giveaway, head over to my page, go to this tweet right here and retweet this tweet right here. Retweet this tweet. And if we get 30 retweets, we will do a random drawing tomorrow from all of you that like and retweet this post. I love you guys. I appreciate you. That's all we got. Adios. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. See you at 2 p.m. on Rice TVX again. Adios.